Hey guys, welcome to my visual diary. My name is Taylor, and on today's video, we're doing a reading vlog. And look at what we're reading. Yes, Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I got this bad boy early, okay? This book comes out January 16th, okay? And so it is now the 13th, and it took me 3 weeks to read the first one, and we're gonna read this one in 3 days. So without further ado, I'm gonna hop right into it. Hey guys, it has been several days, okay? I think the last time I updated you guys was I would say 2 days ago. And the day that I read, I probably read I don't even know, not that much. But I now feel like I have a really good stopping point. I'm on page 100. What do I like so far? So far, y'all, I like this one better than the first one. I like this one much more than the first one. When I read the first one, I was in the middle of a reading slump, and I'm no longer in a reading slump. So I'm just flying through this one. I literally sat and read 80 pages in one setting. So already I think that might have something to do with it. I'm actually just reading it. So I like that one. Two, I feel with this book, the world building is she's definitely improved. I like that she took her time with the book. I feel some of the books that I've been reading, the books have been coming out back to back in series, and I feel there should have been a little bit of time in between for the author to really get acquainted with the story and where she wants it to go. And I feel the world building in this one is significantly better. I also like the new characters that have been introduced. The first person that I do like is Emily Wilde's niece. And she ended up going to Cambridge too. And obviously she's obsessed with fairy studies. So naturally she follows her aunt. The other character that I like Professor Rose. And I know a lot of people might not like him, but I like him because he adds structure and scientific rigor to the book. Because at the end of the day, I know this is fake, but being a scientist, you need rigor. And I really like how obviously this is all fake, but how he's bringing rigor. There was one part where they were on the train, and Emily was we're gonna tell Bamblebee about the Ribbon Man, and he was are you mad? He's a subject too. Are you crazy? And it's you forget that just thinking in the story dang, he's being so rude, but no, if you want any type of scientific merit in your work, I like that. I like that he's bringing the rigor into it and making their research more sound, because Emily and Wendell be doing some shady stuff. Emily's not as shady, obviously, but Wendell, obviously, we know he'd be he's cat. So I do like that he's bringing the rigor in. And what I also like is how he accused them. I do like that, how he accused them of plagiarism. And that is just so real in the workplace. In my field of study, in my work, people get accused of plagiarism. If you get accused of plagiarism, that's it. You're done. And so I liked how they introduced his character, and I even like how he's indecisive. He's so well studied that he kind of gets analysis paralysis. And so I'm just wow, that was mad accurate. Obviously this is fake, but I was for the scientific community, that was well researched, and I can appreciate a well researched book. Okay, even though this is fake. One thing I will say about this book, there's less footnotes in it. If that's something that you like in the first one, the footnotes, I don't feel there's as many footnotes, which I don't mind. But the footnotes that you do get can be a lot bigger. They're I'll show you one. Like, here's one. It's like just bigger. Like, the footnotes are bigger. I do like that it kind of picked up. I feel like at the beginning of this, like the beginning of the first one was kind of slow. This one, not at all. Like, this one, it brought them back like where they were. Immediately jumped to the story, immediately jumps to the action. And I really appreciated that, because you don't want like something to like take forever to like rebuild, but it's like, it's clear that she like probably heard that feedback. I don't know if other people have said that, but I know for me it was a little slow. So it's clear that she took that feedback and like it was not slow. So definitely boosting the grounds running right into the plot. Like, love that. So from what I'm seeing, I like it. So I'm literally on page 100. I just want to update you guys with my findings, and I'm going to keep reading. I'll probably update you guys when I get halfway through, because right now I'm a third of the way through. I'll probably update you when I'm halfway through. Okay. This bust. This is the best kombucha I've had yet. This is good. Hey, it is much later in the day, but I do want to give you guys a reading update because I am basically on page 150, basically in the map of the Otherlands. What they're trying to do is they're trying to find Wendell's door so they can get back to his land. And in trying to find it, they have to go based off of these notes of this woman, of another professor who was super famous, who like disappeared 50 years ago or like 30 years ago. Basically, like, the eerie part is like when the professor went missing, another professor went to go look for her, and this professor is like haunting Emily, like telling her to find the girl. Like, if you find her, you're gonna find the door, and then if we find the door, Wendell gets to go home. So like that type of vibe. So that's kind of like where we are. One thing that happened that I was really like kind of sad about is that Professor Rose, a new character, got injured, and it made me really sad. I really like his character. Like, so I hope he recovers and he helps and he's able to get back in the game, because I'm like, he adds so much clarity to the story. Like, I just respect it. Like, he adds so much clarity and rigor. And like, I love that he's respecting Emily more, because like once Emily was running around, they were like doing their research, because like in the first book, like Emily's very earnest and like she'll get up early and like do all these things, and like he's like, wow, like you actually like are a real scientist, like I shouldn't have doubted you, like, and he's like allowing her, like actually following her lead and stuff. And I really appreciate that, because like he's like, you know what, you might know what you're doing, let me just see what you have going on type vibe, but still making sure they are like rigorous in like their work. And like, I support that. One thing that's kind of sad is Emily is being mean to her niece. Like, she's like, that relationship with her and her niece is like getting tarnished, because like she doesn't know how to express herself. One thing I will say, she's a lot more aware of it, and I feel like she's a lot more empathetic, because she doesn't want to break that relationship with her niece. Like, because her niece is like overzealous, like she's so like happy and she has such good spirits, but like she has so many questions, and like you guys know how Emily is, like she just always wants to like go and like doesn't really want to stop, and so, or like explain or do all these things. And so she's mean to her. And her niece, like, she has like this positive optimist spirit, and it's like slowly like breaking, because like Emily is so mean, and like that part's kind of sad. And so that's pretty much where I am. One thing I just want to say about like the book itself, like the chapters are a little longer, and even though there's like journal entries still, Now we're like in the journal entry stage. I just feel like this book is just more well executed and well written. Like the chapters have like more storytelling aspect, and it's just like written better. Like the story's easier to follow. The world building is like a little weird because like just like when they're like describing the forest, I feel like that even happened in like the first book and stuff. Like sometimes you have to like reread it because you're like, wait, what? Like what are y'all talking about? Like, huh? Like that doesn't make sense. Let me reread this. But so that kind of is like still happening, but I still overall feel like the world building is wetter. The world building is better, and just like the meat and bones of the story is better. So I appreciate it. I'm vibing with it. So I'm gonna update you guys. I'm gonna try to get through 50 more pages tonight because I want to be halfway, almost at the halfway mark. So tomorrow I just have to read like 75 pages or something like that because I work tomorrow. So I'm gonna catch you in the morning, but I'm gonna read. Y'all, we have just finished. We have just finished. And I know I've been updating you guys, and I'm sorry, but before we get into the review, subscribe. If you hear like clicking in the background, that's Leo. He's playing his video game. But let me tell you, I love this book. Loved it. Like from a scientific perspective, like a gem. I loved it. Literally, I loved the new characters. You guys already know I said that. I loved the rigor involved. I loved like the development of the characters. I loved it. It was great. Like, I like this one better than the first one. And the first one took me 3 weeks, but again, I was in a reading slump. That's why it took me 3 weeks to read. This one took me 3 days. So if that says anything, I mean, loved it. Okay? Like, I felt like the story, like, overall the story is really good. I feel like it's Map of the Otherlands, and that part was a little spotty, because I feel like with that, like, I don't feel like she explored enough of the Otherlands to like really have a map built. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get like what they were trying to do, but like I don't feel like she explored enough of the other fairy realms. And like there was, like you said, like they said in the book, like the common fae like knew so much more about the intricacies of like the different realms and like space and time and like even like this thing called the veil. Like I feel like that part was weird. I don't feel like she has enough data to substantiate a map, but I do think like her beginning like with the fairy door that has like the door to all the different realms, I think that was a good starting point. But I don't think she has a real map though. I feel like she can say like I can analyze, but I don't think she has a map. But that's like my only like one of my qualms. The other qualm, I don't like whenever they go into deep fairy realm, I don't like when it gets spotty. And I know that's like part of like the book, and like that's part of like the allure of the fae. Like when immortals go around there, like they lose like their senses and they become mad. But I just don't like that. I feel like it allows like for a little bit of like not a well thought out or like a well descriptive story, and honestly I feel like it's kind of lazy. That's my only thing. But that's in the first book too. Like I don't like how the mind gets confused when we're in fae, because like at the end of this book ends like Wendell and all of them are gonna go back to Wendell's like kingdom and to Wendell's. Why am I doing this? To Wendell's kingdom. and they're gonna try to overtake it, take it back. So like, it's like, when we get the third book, are we gonna not remember what's going on? But she did say that his magic's gonna help her, like, keep her wits about her. But I just don't like that when we go into the Fae territory, we're lost. I like that they were able to find the scholars. I wish that they were able to give more of like an update of what happens to them. I'm pretty sure since she's going to be going back to Cambridge, we're going to keep up with those two professors that were lost for all that time dealing with the tree fawns. So I don't really like how it ended with them though, but I wish that we got more. I did like how Professor Rose ended up supporting Emily in the end. And what I really liked is the development of the romance. Like, I did like that. And there's no spice in this. So, like, if you're looking for, like, a PG, like, vibe, there's no spice in this. But I also like how, like, the romance actually developed. I think that Emily is just, like, an awkward person. So, like, romance wasn't the main plot, but there was a lot more romance in there this time. Like, it actually made sense. I feel like in the first one, it didn't make any sense. I'm like, y'all like each other, why? But in this one, it's like, oh, they like each other because of this. That makes sense. It makes sense why Wendell likes her. It makes sense why Emily likes Wendell. Like, this makes sense. I see it. I see, like, the intimacy. I see the connection, which wasn't there, right? And also, I like that we weren't reliant on Wendell as much because of the poison, and it was more on Emily and her wits and her ability to, like, overcome despite everything that she's facing, because it's always a mess with her, bro. It's always something. Like, it is always something with her. But overall, I like this book. Like, I feel like this is a great way to start 2024. Like, if this is on your TBR, let me know if you end up reading it, if you like it. I liked it better than the first one. And I don't no, that's not true. The only other book that I like more than the first one was A Court of Mist and Fury. That book, A Court of Mist and Fury, woo! Yeah. And this is probably another one that I like. I like this one so much better than the first one. Like, this was a very well written book. And I feel like I've been reading a lot of books in general, a lot of fantasy, and I like that this one is just so different. And I'm a scientist, and so it's like, it makes little scientist me happy, like, with my science, even though it's fake, but like, it gives me my science rigor that I love and structure, and like, I just love it. So that's my review. If you haven't read it, go read it. It's a good time. And that's it for today, y'all. So if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Push notifications. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.